Hello everyone, I'm here today because I wanted to do a review of the brand new Winsor & Newton brush markers. Now, I wanted to show you kind of the difference between these markers and the Spectrum Noirs and the Copic markers, because the Spectrum Noir markers and the Copic markers are what I use currently for my alcohol marker coloring. But I wanted to do just kind of a quick overview of these new brush markers. So with this brush marker set, you get 12 plus 1 because it includes a free blender, and it also gives you instructions, it says here. So on my paper here, I stamped out a couple of butterfly images using the Brutus Monroe Detail ink, the Raven ink, because it is alcohol marker friendly. And opening up the package here, we have, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 with the colorless blender. And we have quite a variety of colors in, this is set 1. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to grab 2 colors here that we're going to use to try to blend, as well as the blender marker. And I'm just going to use these just like I would use any other alcohol marker. And I really like this case that they come in because it holds them really well. So let's put that aside. And first what we're going to do is I'm going to do a quick comparison of the actual marker. I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper and I'm just going to show you, that's not the colorless blender, or that is the colorless blender. So we have one end of it that is the brush end, which you'll see definitely has a brush quality where you can, be very fine or lay out a lot of color. And then on the other end we have a chisel nib, which is pretty standard on alcohol markers. Just to compare with the Spectrum Noir, you have a fine end as well. This is not, I wouldn't consider obviously this a brush end to the marker. As you can see with the brush marker, it's much more of it'll like actually create a brush like mark, whereas this nib does not really accommodate that. And then obviously we also have the chisel end on this guy as well. And then with our Copic sketch markers, which are my favorite Copic markers, you do have that same nib that is on the brush marker. And also, of course, we have the chisel. Okay, so that's kind of the difference, I guess, between the nibs of that. And let's go ahead and see how they color. So let's put that piece of scrap paper to the side, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of coloring here. So I don't have a lot of the markers, obviously. I only have a couple of them. With the first set, I don't have a lot of colors obviously to blend and mix together, but these markers do have, they're really juicy markers. They really have a lot of pigment in them, the alcohol pigment, it seems. With the colorless blender, obviously we're not going to be able to blend colors that are so different from one another, but you can see the coverage. I think the coverage is really good, and you can really, there's a lot of color in there. There's a lot of color. So I think that works. Again, they work really well with the brush end. I really like how, look how much that brush end moves in there. That's really cool. And for brush lettering, I think that would be really awesome as well. It's not a true brush, it is a nib, but if you are a brush letterer, I think that you can do very thick and very thin. You can start very thin and obviously blend out to very thick. Let's see, where are the rest of my colors? Again, I apologize, I only have this one set, so that doesn't really give us a lot of blending capability. It only allows us to really do little spurts of color. It also comes with these instructions here that tell you how to work on paper, working on other surfaces, overlaying and bleeding, using the brush marker blender. Yeah, it says that the blender should be applied generously alongside wet ink to create fluids, subtle gradations, and colors. So, I mean, I guess what they want you to do is they want you to take something like this and apply a whole bunch of color onto your paper. And by the way, we're using the Brutus Monroe alabaster paper here because it works really, really well with alcohol markers and the bleeding. But yeah, it seems like, yeah, I mean, they're very similar to any alcohol marker that I've used in the past, but the only thing is I am lacking, obviously, a lot of colors. I only have so many colors here. Yeah, so I think that these are pretty awesome, and I think for the price point, this is a great marker to kind of start with. I think that the Spectra Noirs are a little bit less expensive, and then obviously the Copics would be at the top of the price point, but I think they work out pretty well. Again, they're working really well with our ink, and the ink is not smearing. It's all staying in place. Obviously, you want to make sure that this ink is very, very dry before you start trying to color with alcohol markers. But yeah, I really, really, really like these markers. I think that they're pretty awesome. So again, these are the brush markers from Winsor & Newton, and if you are just starting out and just beginning with alcohol markers, I think these would be a great investment. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much, and have a great night.